The CDC is now recommending all adults get the COVID booster shot, with growing concerns over the new Omicron variant and a 25% increase in COVID cases leading up to Thanksgiving in the U.S. Thanks for joining us for this week's Health News You Can Use. I'm Lindsay Stish. This week we're answering some of the most common questions about booster shots with the CDC's strengthened guidelines. With me today is Nick Bennett, manager of the Antimicrobial and Diagnostic Advisement program at St. Luke's Health System. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
So first, what do we know about the Omicron variant?
There's a lot we have yet to learn about the new variant, and I think we'll learn a lot over the next 1 to 2 weeks regarding how transmissible it is. Will it become a variant of concern in the United States, and how effective are our vaccines and treatments against it? So it's really speculative at this point to suggest that we know a lot about it, and I think we'll learn a lot over the next 1 to 2, maybe 4 weeks about some of the unknown questions.
Mm-hmm. So can you explain why it's more important now that everyone 18 and older get the booster shot rather than just those who are at high risk?
Sure. Just yesterday, the CDC increased the recommendation or strengthened recommendations that anybody 18 years and older should receive a booster dose if they've already received their primary series with Johnson & Johnson or Pfizer or Moderna. So anybody 18 years and older should get a Pfizer or Moderna vaccine 6 months after their second dose. Or anybody who received the Johnson & Johnson vaccine should get a booster dose 2 months after they receive their initial dose. And some of the concern about this booster dose is related to, is there data out there regarding its effectiveness? And just the other week, the CDC's Advisory Council on Immunization Practice looked at data from Pfizer that has not been released, but they received it from the manufacturer. And they took 10,000 people who received the initial vaccine series in their studies, and about 10 to 12 months after they received their vaccine, they received a booster dose or placebo. The people who received the booster dose had about a 95% reduction in incidence of getting COVID-19, meaning that there probably is some effect of waning immunity with these vaccines, and booster doses are now recommended with greater certainty than we had in the past.
So when can we expect booster shots for the 12 to 18 age group?
It's really unclear yet what will happen for the patients who are less than 18 years and older. We will continue to follow the science regarding whether they need it and if they'll need it. And I would be unsurprised, knowing what we know about adults, if they would at some point be recommended to receive the booster dose. But again, we will have to learn as we go.
Right. So another question some have asked is, if we need a booster shot, are the COVID vaccines working? And is this something that we'll have to get every year?
At this point, it's too uncertain for us to suggest whether we'll need one every year, but the question regarding are they working, the answer is absolutely yes. The whole goal of COVID vaccines was to decrease risk of getting the infection itself, decrease severity of illness, and then decrease risk of hospitalization or death. And what we've experienced over the last 3 to 6 months, as we've seen more and more people get vaccinated, the vast majority of people who are getting admitted to our hospitals are unfortunately unvaccinated patients. And so the answer is yes, the vaccines are working. And so it's really important for people to get vaccinated to protect yourself and take those proactive measures rather than react to getting the virus, which is really uncertain. We don't know how sick somebody will get and whether they'll have long-term consequences from the virus.
Okay. So how long does it take protection from the booster shot to kick in?
It takes about 14 days for somebody to be fully protected from either the initial doses or the booster dose. So it's really important now to go get your booster dose if you haven't already, or even your initial vaccine series, to make sure you're protected at least to some degree by the time you meet up with friends and family for the holidays.
Okay. Now, what side effects can someone expect when they go in to get their booster shot?
The booster shot side effects are very similar to what you would have experienced for your initial vaccine or vaccine doses. Mm-hmm. The only major change that we've seen, and it's really kind of a minor increase, is increased risk of tenderness in your lymph nodes, which is not uncommon when you have an immune response. So tenderness in your armpits or even in your neck area. But otherwise, the vaccine, when you experience side effects, it's really just your body's way of telling you that, hey, you got a vaccine, your body's revving up your immune response. So should you ever get exposed to COVID-19, it may help protect you.
Okay, great. Now, the FDA is expected to make a decision on COVID antiviral pills soon. If we have these drugs to help with the treatment of the virus, why do I need to get vaccinated? Some may ask.
It's really important to differentiate treatment versus prevention. our prevention is our best mechanism to be proactive and ensure protection from ever getting the the virus itself, because again, we don't know whether somebody will get super sick or what kind of long-term complications they have. So we're really excited to have treatment options, but that's the unfortunate part, is then somebody is sick with COVID-19. So these oral antivirals appear to be somewhat effective at this point, but they're undergoing the FDA review regarding safety and efficacy right now, and I think we'll learn a little bit more about their role in therapy over the next 1 to 2 months here.
Okay, great. So how can someone get a booster shot through St. Luke's?
Anybody can schedule a COVID booster shot or even their initial series through our website, or if you are already a patient for St. Luke's, you can go through your patient portal and get scheduled there. If that's not convenient, and convenience is key, I would highly recommend you find some place that's close to you, whether it's a pharmacy or a local health department. Really, our goal is to make sure you have access to the vaccines you need and get vaccinated.
Right. Okay, great. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add today?
Yeah, as we head into the holiday season, I would just highly encourage people to take the necessary precautions to protect you and your family. So if you haven't been vaccinated yet, go get vaccinated. If you're scheduled for your booster dose, I would highly encourage you to go get it, and get it relatively soon, so you have that 14-day window of protection that's necessary to mount your full immune response.
Okay, great. Well, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
If you'd like to learn more about the COVID-19 vaccine and scheduling an appointment, visit stlukeskc.org/COVID vaccine. You can also stay up to date with all the latest developments on the COVID pandemic and other health news from St. Luke's at stlukeskc.org/news. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time on Health News You Can Use.